Hello everyone, happy February. In celebration of Black History Month, this list highlights the achievements of 5 African American women and their role in U.S. history. Black History Month is an annual celebration, and since 1976, every U.S. president has officially designated the month of February as Black History Month. The 5 people this video features are Harriet Tubman, Bessie Coleman, Shirley Chisholm, Mae C. Jemison, and Kamala Harris. First on the list is Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman was one of the conductors of the Underground Railroad. The Underground Railroad was a network of escape routes to help enslaved Americans escape from the South. Remember, the Underground Railroad had no trains or tracks. People who were escaping slavery went by night and followed the North Star or the moss that grew on the northern side of trees. Harriet Tubman was never captured, although there was a reward for her capture or death. There are plans to redesign the $20 bill and replace Andrew Jackson with Harriet Tubman soon. A famous quote from her is the following: "There was one of 2 things I had the right to, liberty or death. If I could not have one, I would have the other, for no man should take me alive." Next on the list is Bessie Coleman. Bessie Coleman became the first African American woman to be recognized for a public flight in America. She was the first Black woman to earn a pilot's license. Bessie was born in 1892 in Atlanta, Texas. Her parents were sharecroppers, and she was one of 13 children. She earned her pilot's license in 1921. She was not permitted to get her pilot's license in the United States, so she learned French and earned her license in France at an aviation school. She died tragically at 34 due to an accident in an air show. Here's a famous quote by her: "I refuse to take no for an answer." Third on the list is Shirley Chisholm. Shirley Chisholm was a politician who lived from 1924 to 2005. In addition to being in Congress, she was also an educator and an author. She was the first female African American to be elected to the United States Congress and represented New York's 12th Congressional District for 7 terms. Chisholm was also the first Black woman candidate for a major party's nomination for the president and was the first woman to run for the Democratic Party's presidential nomination of any race. She came from one of the poorest communities in New York, but later got a master's from the University of Columbia Teachers College. She later ran for New York State Assembly and eventually won an election for the United States Congress. She advocated for reproductive rights, food stamp programs, and increases to minimum wage. Here's a quote by Shirley Chisholm: "Service is the rent we pay for the privilege of living on this earth." Next on the list, we have Dr. Mae C. Jemison. Mae C. Jemison is a physician and the first African American woman to become an astronaut. She was born in Decatur, Alabama in 1956. In 1992, she flew on the Space Shuttle Endeavour. She enrolled at Stanford University at the age of 16. She received degrees in chemical engineering and African American studies. She then attended medical school at Cornell University, where she studied international medicine. After all this education, she worked in various medical positions. She worked as a volunteer in refugee camps. She worked for the Peace Corps, and she worked for the Centers of Disease Control. Here's a quote by Mae C. Jemison: "Never limit yourself because of others' limited imagination. Never limit others because of your own limited imagination." And last on the list, we have Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is the first female vice president and the first Black person and Asian American to be elected to this position. She was born on October 20th, 1964 in Oakland, California. She served as a U.S. Senator and as an attorney for California. She attended Howard University and Hastings University of Law. In 2010, she became California's Attorney General. Later in 2016, she became the second African American woman to become a United States Senator. Kamala's mother immigrated from India to attend UC Berkeley, where she met her husband, Donald. Kamala's mother was a breast cancer researcher, while her father was an economics professor at Stanford. Here is a quote by Kamala Harris: "There will be people who say to you, 'You're out of your lane.' They are burdened by only having the capability to see what has always been instead of what can be. But don't let that burden you. So in summary, I covered a diverse group of Black women in many different fields. I covered Kamala Harris, Vice President, Shirley Chisholm, a senator, Harriet Tubman, conductor of the Underground Railroad, Dr. Mae C, Jemison, an astronaut, and Bessie Coleman, an aviator. To be honest, it was difficult to narrow down the list to 5 women. I left out Michelle Obama and Oprah Winfrey because I felt there was a ton of information on them already. Maybe I can make a future video with other deserving women in the future. If you like this video, please show your support by subscribing. Thank you.